Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Oprah's Christmas movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Oprah's Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and did you look under the desk? And this
Is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. It's Festive Friday already.
Festive Friday.
You got it, dude.
Everybody. And
That's
shout
right.
out to Rena, who's watching live right now, despite not knowing what we're talking about, just because she missed us.
Oh, Rena. We miss you
We
too.
miss Rena.
The best.
It's great to be here today for another journey back to 2024 to the OWN network.
Yeah. The good stuff.
The OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network, which I think they do like one of these a year. And
one or two, yeah, with our pals at Mar Vista.
Mar Vista.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Today we're talking about 24 Karat Christmas, which I picked because it reminded me of the Bruno Mars song. And that was it. That was as far as I got in deciding.
Christmas.
Alonso, you and I have been talking a good bit over the past few days as we are mapping out through mid-October, trying to get all of our ducks in a row. Believe it or not, we're not even scratching the surface of all that 2024 has to offer.
So much.
And
I mean, we're not in the crazy glory days of like your 2022s, say, but still so much out there.
So much out there. And I just want to share this story. I have stumbled upon there's an app that's like called Real. What's it called, Aaron? Real Films.
Several different apps of the same.
Okay, but it's like real movies or something like that. But real as in like an Instagram.
Yeah, I
reel
got
type
it.
thing.
R-E,
And
yes.
it's you remember Quibi.
I remember Quibi.
So it's Quibi, but worse.
right.
Because
Quibi gave you the choice of vertical or
Yeah.
horizontal. And this is
Stop
vertical
I
only.
still can't get over how impressive that tech was. Where when you swapped it did it immediately. It was very impressive tech that Quibi invented.
You were bigger on Quibi than anyone I knew.
Mainly because of the tech. I thought it was really cool. But they spent too much money. So what can you do? So anyway, they put out movies only in vertical format and only in bite-sized chunks. So you have to watch them
I quit.
in a series. And I stumbled upon an ad or something for a Christmas one of them, and I put it on the back burner. And I watched a little of it, and I texted Alonso, and I said, I think this might be the limit. I think we finally
we found
gotten to the point where it's like, I don't even think that we can do this. And
I'm glad that you thought that because I would have told you we can't.
So I was
Daniel,
on
you need to buy Bran a cookie bouquet for not making you watch
That's
this
right.
movie just based on the trailer.
It's the least you could do.
I was on the fence about it, and so I asked Alonso his thoughts, and he said, you know what? There's others
Much
out there.
appreciated, Alonso.
I think so. Our limit is can it be viewed?
Is it landscape?
On a TV? Can it be viewed on a TV?
Is it landscape?
Yeah.
That's the whole bit. Is it landscape? Will it landscape?
The restraint by me. I've really grown. You know.
Yeah.
I've really
good for you,
grown,
buddy.
We're heading into our 8th year.
We don't have to watch portrait movies yet.
No, not yet.
That's a year 15 problem.
We also, have been sitting on the sequel to Christmas at Holly Lodge.
Yes,
just,
a firefighter for Christmas or something.
Oh,
And,
what? For who?
In case we want to go there.
Well, good news. It is on the schedule. We'll be getting to it later this
Okay,
summer.
then.
You can do it later this summer.
You guys.
I thought maybe it'd be the live watch along at Bramblefest or something.
No, we got something very
The
special
live
for the
watch
live watch
along at
this year.
Bramblefest is you will only be able to see it if you are with us.
Come
at
on.
In the
Bramblefest.
room.
Come
Okay.
That's
on.
it. That is that might not be the only special surprise about it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
If
saying.
I have to watch a Mighty Ducks movie, I swear.
It's maybe
It's the Mighty Ducks with Gordon Bombay, and I literally would die. Emilio Estevez watching the Mighty Ducks and hanging out with that guy. That'd be it.
That'd be it.
That'd be it.
Man. Alonso, would you still come?
Yeah, I might leave the room, but I'll still be at Bramblefest.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You would leave the room?
No, I'm
Come
kidding.
on.
I've never seen it. It would be interesting to watch it with a
He's
lot of
never seen
enthusiasts.
the Mighty Ducks.
Now there is. I will just, and I don't want to get ahead of it.
Oh,
There is talk of us potentially covering the Mighty Ducks trilogy later this year or
with
next year.
I
or
want to
something.
say that's a Ryan Popola lock.
It is
So, yes,
exactly
I'm
Ryan
not
Popola
going to come. I'm not going to come gunning for that.
But
seat,
I was
promise you.
gonna extend the offer. Maybe we make it a foursome, and we have some fresh eyes.
Maybe we bring another into the podcast studio.
And we just someone who has not seen it before, who also happens to be a film critic.
No, I don't.
Could
this
I
isn't
could I
fair.
watch the portrait movie instead? How about that?
And we just keep cutting to you for updates.
You know how the first 2/3 of the new Karate Kid movie is a weird boxing movie where Ben Wong trains Joshua Jackson to
Yes.
fight again? Imagine that, but good.
I liked the new Karate Kid movie, but here's the thing: I'd never seen a Karate Kid movie
So
before.
I the last 30 minutes of the new Karate Kid movie really works for me. Worked like it felt like an old Karate Kid movie, but the first 50 minutes are like, this isn't karate. There's a little, I guess there's a kid, but it's like a Rocky movie. It was not a karate movie. It was not Ralph Macchio. I was like,
Where's
I'm
Ralph
sure
Macchio?
Ralph Macchio's on the poster. He's not in the movie. So that was weird.
They get to him. They get
They
to
get
him,
to
you
him.
know.
They get to him.
They get to him.
I thought Ben Wong was super charming.
Ben
so
Wong's
that
great.
Kind of, I was there for that.
If you take out the montages and the boxing subplot, it is an after-school special, and that was my issue. But my kids,
But you know
my
what? Bring them- let's
9-year-olds
bring them back.
freaking loved it. They thought it was
Okay.
amazing, and I think that was the point.
And
So there you go.
we are actually, this is a weird way to bring it up, but I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah.
We are actually bringing back after school specials. We're going to be producing them, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be amazing.
Coming in 2026.
That's
You
right.
can look forward to that. We're going
You guys-
to be
you
tackling the
missed-
hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah.
You missed the golden age of after-school
Yeah,
specials,
that's true.
my friends. The 1970s. That's where we really got down with what the kids were all about.
Dan and I are going to try to do it, but we're going to be like not hip. So we're going to be like, are you kids on Facebook? Are you getting bullied
Hello,
on
fellow
Facebook?
young people.
No one's going to listen to us. All right, 24 karat Christmas in the air. Christmas trees and candy and presents. Full cover coming later. 24 Karat Christmas originally aired on the OWN network on December 21st, 2024. Snuck it
Cutting
in.
it close.
I know, and it went a little something like this. Trish Moore is a jewelry designer who is at a bar. She shows up. She is really intently watching this couple hug,
Yep.
and it goes on a little too
long
long.
time.
And so that's where we're at. And she is inspired by their hug to begin sketching a ring idea as she waits for her blind date to show up, which he finally does very, very late, and ends up spilling her drink in the process. His name is Booker, and the blind date does not go well. She's very by the book. He's very loosey-goosey.
This is new and different.
Stop me if you've heard it before. So she ends up leaving and breaks another glass in the process, and then bumps into a guy holding Christmas presents the next morning. She's not well. I am convinced of it. The next day at work, she is finishing up some rings for a wedding, and the box that those rings are placed in ends up by a pile of other boxes, and all of those boxes are being picked up by a delivery guy. The delivery guy shows up. She starts flirting with the delivery guy. She then falls into the boxes. Again, I think she has a problem. And she thinks the box ends up getting mixed up with those boxes. The boxes with the rings, it's all a mix up.
Yeah, it's a big jumble.
So she can't find them. They're
Like
gone.
Home Alone
So-
2 hitting the tickets everywhere.
Yes.
There you go.
So Booker then shows up to Trish's surprise, and he's actually the best man for the wedding and is there to pick up the rings. And that is when she discovers that the rings must have been accidentally picked up by the delivery guy. So they decide to go to the delivery company and try to figure out where it possibly could have been picked up. I'm sure once it arrived at the establishment, they would have seen that it doesn't have any address on it or anything like that, and then they would set it aside. They did not do that.
Nah.
And so they're like, well, maybe it got delivered somehow on his route. And so they get the information of where it could have gone, and they go and they check along the route, and it's nowhere to be found. Trish and Booker, at this point, despite being in a rush, are also really taking their time. And they are beginning to occasionally enjoy each other's company. He's teaching her how to listen to her surroundings.
So cool.
So I guess maybe she doesn't fall over or something. They end up getting into a huge argument, and she goes off and she meets this other guy that she's supposed to be getting set up with. But the sparks just aren't quite there like they were with Booker. So she comes up with another set of rings that aren't quite what she wanted to give to the bride and groom, but what can you do? So Booker shows up to pick those up, and he ends up sticking around to play a Christmas board game. And they're hanging out for a while, and she gets back to her office, and she lays down on the ground, and she looks to the side, and she discovers a box is under a desk.
Can't be the box. They would have checked there immediately, right?
It is the box with the rings in it. So she gets them to the wedding, and then at the reception, Booker shows up. They end up dancing. He talks about how things with his ex are behind them, and he's ready to start looking for towards the future. Like, next Christmas is going to be a great one. They dance, they talk, and they kiss, and that, my friends, was 24 Karat Christmas.
We did it.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down with 4 segments here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about 24 Karat Christmas today, the 2024 own network Christmas movie. Let's share our thoughts on it. We're going to start with a hot take as we're going to share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, and I will start with you. Alonso, 24 Karat Christmas. Is it a gold medal for you? Thank you.
Yikes. It is. No. That was yikes at the joke, not at the movie.
Fair.
Fair.
The movie I put in the firmly okay category. It is not embarrassing. It is very straightforward. It does what it wants to do. Yes, there are some wait whats and some stuff that doesn't quite scan, but it's, it is competently put together. The lead couple is really charming. I don't know if you guys watched a reality show called Real Friends of WeHo.
Dan, you were just telling
Big
me.
WeHo stand
Dan.
right here.
Okay.
Dan loved it.
It featured Jonathan Bennett's husband.
Okay.
It was a show about friends in West Hollywood. And by, of course, friends, I mean in the reality show sense of a casting agent put them together and they all met 5 minutes before the first episode started. Curtis Hamilton, who plays Booker, was on that show.
Oh, okay.
And his whole arc was can I have an acting career and be out? And apparently he can because he got cast in this. So good for him.
Was this before Jonathan Bennett's husband, before they were married, or is this a recent thing?
No. This was recent. This was the last couple of years.
Okay.
Bennett pops up in it a couple times, but for the most part, it's focusing on the husband. So yeah, this was fine. I'm not mad at it. And there was actually a couple of things that I actively liked, but it's kind of run of the mill, but it's not whoa, this.
Yeah. No, I agree, Alonso. This is as middle of the pack as it gets. I feel like it's not offensively bad. It seems like there was a lot of effort put in by the actors and by the film crew doing some interesting camera work and stuff like that. And by and large, it makes sense, aside from the fact that the box was under the thing and she would have definitely looked there, but that's whatever. It's nice. It's a nice movie. It's not like bad enough to be funny. It's not good enough for me to ever watch it again or even remember it past right now. But a fine movie, and I'm not mad that we watched it. Dano?
Yeah, my yikes is for the joke and the movie. You guys are both degenerates. You need a Christmas fix so bad.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It's the first week of June and you're like, it's okay. This isn't okay. This is what we're looking for,
I
gang.
think we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
It'll do the job. You know what I mean? Like it'll get it done. You guys are crazy. This is
Hey, a bad day on the
a Christmas movie course is better than a good day.
Go.
This movie is like Christmas in Carolina with a budget. It is.
Oh, come on.
It starts.
It does open with a blind
with a
date at the bar,
blind
but
date.
it ends there.
It opens with a blind date where the guy is late and they have the same dynamic. They just have microphones and they don't have an air conditioned vent running. And John isn't a mentor.
And the lead, does say, "Hey, that's John, my mentor."
That's
But
right.
They don't go back to the same bar to have lunch the next day.
They do go back to the same bar 2 more times in this movie. So this movie has a little bit of a budget. There are times when people are not wearing microphones and desperately need to be. The 2 leads are definitely more competent than Christmas in Carolina. There's no doubt about that. This is a tough watch. I wrote in all, I'm not going to get to it. I'm third on the wait what list. We all know this. I wrote in all caps. It was under the desk the whole time. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark. The whole movie stems from something that could and would never happen. It is unbelievable that someone who is type A, philo.tv/DTH, I'm doing air quotes, is the thing. And also, I'll save the rest of that for my feels because it's actually a positive about this movie that I think is a direct feels. But I will say they do try to do something different with the Baxter in this movie that we normally see. And so I guess that was appreciated. The kiss wasn't bad at the end of this movie.
they're still kissing.
Hard disagree on the camera work though from Bran. That was dizzying. There was a lot.
I didn't say it was good. I mentioned the camera work that they're trying things, not necessarily.
You said you really liked it.
I really liked what they were going for. And I'll get to it in my feels.
I just there's once again, air quotes, there's a scene that's supposed to be really sexy in this movie where he describes her tasting a cookie. And the guy that directed it mainlined Tony Scott before the
lady.
The lady that directed
Thank
it
you.
mainlined Tony Scott films and was like, I'm going to shake and spin and make sure the camera never stays still, and it's wild. This is, guys, unless you are at the level of Brandon Gray, go ahead and go to his camera, see what this guy looks like. Or Alonso Duralde, go ahead and go to that cam. Unless you're these two who are just jonesing for a Christmas fix, 70 minutes, 81 minutes, I don't give a
It
doesn't matter. It's June. Hit me with some tinsel. Unless you are those people, stay away from 24 karat Christmas. That's all I'm saying.
Dan, the bad news for you is it's only June.
Yeah.
Brother, do you want me to read some of the titles we got
No,
coming out?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You don't want to know any of them?
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm good. Just keep it as a surprise.
There's a Lawrence Brothers movie.
What?
Let's get to all the
Why
feels.
did you do that?
Let's get to all the feels we were talking about. What this movie gave us feels. I'll start with you, Alonso.
Look, first of all, I resent the implication that I don't have standards here. Because,
we've made it clear today that he does. He's the one who vetoed the vertical movie.
That's right. Thank you. Yes. And as someone who is perpetually starved for Christmas, even I will acknowledge that many of these movies are hot barf, and this is not that. So, okay. One of the most, I got a genuine intentional laugh from this movie. When they're on the hunt for the missing box, and he insisted they sit down and have lunch, and he says, let's play a game where I ask you a question about you, and then if you decide to answer it, then you can ask it to me back. And she just says, so a conversation.
Yep.
And
What we're going for.
Yes. Thank you for cutting to
That's
the
funny.
quick there. Yeah, and I mean, really, I think my feels just kind of come down to the fact that I found the two of them appealing separately and together, and I enjoyed them in the movie. Nothing that happens to them or between them is much of a departure from anything else we've ever seen in one of these movies. But yeah, my feel is just I enjoyed watching them.
So Dan, you mentioned the scene where she's eating the cookie and the camera's rotating and it's like supposed to be sexy, whatever. The reason why that scene, the reason why one, like that scene could have been a lot better if the camera just slows
still.
down.
Correct.
Like I don't mind a rotating camera. That this guy is running around them and then like changing the focus.
This lady.
And like, or lady, yeah.
That's right.
And so there's a lot going on there. And so that part of it didn't work. What I thought was actually really great about that scene though was the audio of that scene was really cool. Like the way, so they do this thing and they do it again later in the movie where they kind of like, there's some sort of movement that happens in the audio that shows that you are now moving to what she is hearing.
Her inner
ears. And then like, it's kind of her inner ears, you know what I mean? The innards, if you will. And
no, I will
there's
not.
like some like movement going on with the audio. And I thought that scene, it wasn't expertly crafted, but it was, I thought by and large, especially with the audio, it worked for me. And so it gave me I appreciated that attempt. Dano?
Yeah, the Baxter in this movie is Andrew Bushell or Bichelle. I don't know, one of those two. He's been in like a dozen things we've seen. He was in all the Love Club movies. He's been in a lot of stuff. And when he comes on screen in his first scene with our lead, I thought they were had not seen the poster. I thought, and I'd obviously not seen the WeHo show as well. I thought they were the couple. I honestly thought that the blind date was like going to be around and they were going to end up with this guy. And it turns out he's being really nice to her and they have good chemistry, but he is trying to get with her friend who is trying to set her up with him. And I appreciated they didn't just make him I just thought they were going to make one of these people a terrible human being. And instead they didn't do that. And that in when you watch 300 of these a year, that is refreshing that they just made him a normal human being who's a good guy and, you know, found who he was interested in. So I did appreciate that.
Look at us
everybody.
Appreciating
Look at
stuff.
us doing things.
And the idea that the friend is like, oh, you should date this guy when really it's like she's the one who's interested in it. And it takes the lead to be like, you know what? You really should go out with this guy.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's nice. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way you want the what the hallmark here on Deck the Hallmark. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about 24 Karat Christmas from OWN today, even though the movie is leading up to and then primarily takes place on Christmas Eve. So
yeah.
A little confusing.
24 Karat Christmas Eve.
But that was a harder title.
Yeah.
24
Karat Christmas.
Let's start with, well, when the movie started off with 2 days until Christmas Eve, I knew we were never seeing Christmas Day.
Yeah. That's 3 days. We call that 3 days till Christmas in the biz. That's what we call that.
Let's get to the way it was.
The countdown to something. Yeah.
I'll start with you, Alonso. What in this movie made you go, wait, what?
All right. So our protagonist is a jewelry designer, and she has a jewelry store where there's gold and precious stones, and her store has a whole bunch of Christmas trees, but does not have a burglar alarm.
Yeah.
She opens at the door at the beginning of the movie. There's not a beep. There's not a keypad. There's not a nothing. And I'm like, ma'am, you have valuables everywhere in this place. And so I'm thinking maybe, call the folks at ADT or whatever. I had written down, normally the bride does not wear a wedding gown to the rehearsal.
Yep,
but
there it is. That's big.
What was this?
But it's not a wedding dress, as it turns out. She is wearing this white dress.
It's a wedding dress.
With like a white kind of die cut lace overlay thing. It's gorgeous, but I just thought, wow, that's why is she wearing this to the
And
rehearsal?
Alonso,
But
the entire wedding party is dressed for a wedding.
But
Like,
especially the groom is in a nice
Yeah.
suit with a thin tie, like that could be something you would wear as a groom.
and then the groomsmen and the bridesmaids are wearing matching suits or dresses. And
but
it's
then
like,
it's
oh,
not. But then you get to the wedding,
I
and it's like, oh no,
know.
they've got whole other outfits.
it
going
was a
on.
roller coaster.
It was
Alonso.
wild.
Yeah, it was ambitious, but especially the thought of like if you're wearing a white dress to a dinner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, you bet. I hope red wine is not on the table
bold.
because that's going to
From
be
your lips.
Yeah. So the idea that she has like two really fabulous dresses to wear in one weekend, I'm like, okay, I guess we're working a theme here. Late in the film, when he comes to the jewelry store and he turns on the music,
Oh,
the
this is
idea
great.
is supposed to be that he has turned on Christmas music because they talk about, oh well, it's Christmas Eve. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Da, da, da. The music is just some generic like whatever
Elevator music.
yeah, like whatever the library music that's maybe like I don't know what even category it would go in, but it's not Christmas music. There's like not even like a public domain, nothing. There's nothing Christmassy about it. So it's like, why not just give me a Jingle Bells? Just
Give me Jingle
for
Bells.
funsies.
And then
Something.
also in that scene, when he tells her that he's going to get back with his ex, the music that is supposed to be Christmas music that isn't changes to dramatic piano that only we can hear. And then when he's done talking about it, it goes back to that music. And you guys are like, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. It was fine. Hey, happy holidays, everybody. Cubs win.
Calm down, Daniel. We didn't say it was great. We just said it wasn't terrible.
That's right.
There's a difference.
I can quit at any time. I don't need Christmas movies in June. I don't need them.
I just like the flavor.
It was a little treat. It was a little treat.
Yeah.
Speaking of the wedding party, the groomsmen and bridesmaids generally are not already standing up front
Nah.
when the bride enters. Like they process.
That's how a rehearsal would work. Yes.
Yeah. No. I mean the actual wedding though.
Oh.
The day of the actual wedding, when she shows up with the rings finally, everybody's already at the front except for the bride.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how this goes. Like they walk in together, the groomsmen.
Well,
the
unless
groomsmen, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids walk in, double
unless the
file or
bride is
whatever.
getting cold feet and nobody knows about it. If they start the procession and then they're waiting on the queue. They're waiting on the
True.
bride to come down.
Maybe they've been there for a while.
She
Yeah,
caught
they
her
could have
at
been
the
there for a
exact-
while.
The exact moment where they were waiting on her, and that's good timing on her part.
And then this is just this is a paint by paint number situation, but there were a couple lines that leapt out at me. I was like, this is not what the line was, but we did not have time to do a second take. She at one point says, I don't have any more moves in me left, which is like, okay, Yoda. And he says at one point, I just want to see one person's wish turn true.
Yeah. I want to see that wish turn true. Waiting for the turn.
I don't see any
It's right
problem
before
with
the river.
any of that. All of that tracks for Bran. Everything that you just said makes
The
perfect
wish,
sense.
the wish came out false, and it was
Yeah.
like, I'm turning true.
Turning true. Yeah. Poof. Sometimes you wanted to turn true.
That's crazy.
Is that it, Alonso?
That's what I got.
To go back to her store, you mentioned that she doesn't have an alarm. I was just kind of baffled by the whole opening of the store process. She immediately opens up and then walks back. And I'm like, this store is massive.
yeah.
And then she gets back there and she has like a mock-up for a bigger version of
That's
the
right.
thing that she has that is every time we're in there, it is empty. She does not need two-story jewelry store.
She's a racquetball court, apparently.
And then she's back there in the back working on her jewelry. Her best friend comes in, and luckily her best friend was like, hello, because if not, it could have been someone sneaking up on her to kill her because she doesn't have like bells when you walk in or a chime or something.
A bing bong.
The store was really big.
Big store.
Why is she trying to get a bigger one? I don't know. I don't know, but she was. I am going to act this one out for those of you that are
it's
watching
an
on
act it
Fiverr.
out. All right.
Here is my computer. And so they go to the delivery place and they're talking to the manager or whatever. And they're like, could you look at where, you know, if something came in that didn't have anything or whatever. And so he's like, yeah, sure. Come here. Let me go to my office. I can look on the computer. And he proceeds to, while looking at his computer, like move his head around as if that like, yeah, I mean, is his eyesight okay? Like he was
ducking and diving there.
like,
yeah.
And he's like,
No
nope.
peripheral.
Like, I love that was how he decided to look at his computer. I thought that was fantastic. And then that he's always wearing that hat. The guy's just in a Christmas spirit. And for it being a stressful time of the year, couldn't have been more accommodating for them. Just the nicest delivery person 2 days until Christmas. So shout out to that guy.
Well, at least store manager lady was stressed for Christmas.
Yes, for sure. And then again, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but
It was under the desk.
it was under the desk.
Yeah, it was under the desk the whole time for 36 straight hours.
And the thing about it is everything that you have told me about this woman up to that point would lead me to believe that she would look under the desk first. And she didn't. And that was a shocking development.
You would look under the desk.
I would look under the desk. She didn't look under the desk. And how did it get there?
Yeah.
They're like, that's with the fall. That's just, I don't know how it got that. Dano.
See that guy up there? He's my mentor. All timer.
Should we redo Christmas in Carolina during
rewatch.
Christmas in July?
A rewatch.
It's been a couple years.
A rewatch.
I haven't seen a movie in a couple years.
More than that. It's been 3 or 4.
3
what?
years?
There's a sequel.
There's a sequel of Christmas in Carolina?
We did it. Another Christmas.
We did it.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is real
okay.
bad.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to
that
rewatch.
was the 60-minute movie with the 15-minute
Oh,
credits.
man, what
if
a time.
anybody thinks we should rewatch Christmas in Carolina or Christmas in July, you let us know. Because I'm
here for it.
I'm ready for it.
That was 22? Was that 22?
And then we watched it at Bramblefest.
in 23.
Is that right?
No. We did it in 21, and then we watched it at Bramblefest in 22.
22.
So it's 4 years. Next year is 5 year. I think next year we rewatch it.
Okay.
I like it. It's John, my mentor.
John, my mentor.
This jewelry store owner who has a massive jewelry store, she cleans and polishes and sets jewelry with her bare hands. Which I'm not like a jeweler by trade, but I've been in enough of those stores to know you would absolutely never. You would never do that. That's in that category of I'm a baker. Now that it's 8 a.m., let me get up and go make the bread or the donuts, as we learned last week.
The donuts.
That's exactly right. The way that they go to check with this shipping facility, if their package was theirs, is they go to the back employee entrance and they basically knock on the door and they let them in the back room back there with all these people's mail. And I just didn't understand that. Like, did they not try the front door first? Was somebody tell them they were allowed to go back there? If we run a store, like if we lost a package here that was supposed to be shipped out when we ship out the Deckies every year, could we just go to the FedEx and knock on the employee entrance and be like, you got it back here? Can I look around? Can I look around and see? So that was weird. There's a lot of times in these movies where typically the female lead puts on an outfit and shows up to an event, and the male lead is like, oh my gosh, or wow. In this movie, our male lead does a full wow for an outfit that our female lead is holding. And she doesn't hold it up to her. She's just holding it. She's holding a dress, not completely unfurled, just like holding a dress. And he acts as though she's coming down the stairs, that she's Winnie Cooper coming down the stairs in Crown for Christmas. It is a mind-boggling scene in this movie.
They realized that they hadn't written him into the scene where she wears the dress.
Yeah.
So
That's
they had to
exactly
give
what
him
happened.
something.
Baxter gets the wow. The Baxter
He
gets
does.
the wow.
He does. At least he
But
doesn't.
it's good. It's fine. Like, it's not amazing, but it's good Christmas
You
time.
get it, brother. At least he didn't walk in and go, hey, hold it real quick. Then close his eyes and go, oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.
The guy who's the Baxter who does get the wow scene with the dress, before she walks up to him, he is at a cake buffet like a cupcake buffet, I think. Like it's a dessert buffet of some sort. I think they're all little mini
Try
cupcakes.
one more time.
I don't know what it is. I've never seen it.
It's a cake buffet,
A cupcake buffet. I don't know.
dessert buffet.
It's not like
All of
there
the
are
above.
2 or 3 dessert options. It is a long table
lot of cupcakes.
with finger food desserts.
It's a treat station.
And I say this as above board as I can. He is fondling a cupcake. He is, and he doesn't eat it. He puts it back on the tray.
no.
He's up there and he's looking at it. He's looking, and then when she comes up, he just puts it back on the tray. And it is a move.
It's a red flag.
It's a move. And lastly, a big shout out to the extra of the year. I know we give that Decky every year. Current leader in the clubhouse, background actor of the year, is from this movie. In that same scene at the cupcake buffet, our 2 actors are talking, and behind them there's a group of men talking, and one of them is in a 3-piece suit with a fedora and sunglasses on inside, which is great. And every time the camera goes to the shot, the close-up of our female lead, behind her is this background actor, and he is doing a different pose every time. He is doing the hands behind the back. He's doing the hands in the pocket. He's doing the both hands grab the lapel.
Yep.
And he's doing the straighten the tie.
Yeah.
So in any given moment, spin the wheel, baby. When it goes back to her, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. He couldn't choose just one. He chose 4. It's amazing. We were laughing so hard. You've got to go look this up. He's the winner. I love this guy.
He missed
He's
the
great.
part where the extra coordinator told them to do the same thing every
Yeah.
shot. He was like, do a different thing every shot?
Yeah.
I got it. It's time for What the Hallmark is, where we wonder what could have been. Maybe if it gets a clear question stuff. What are we still wondering about? That's what we're going to do. Alonso?
Yeah, again, this is the classic, she's uptight, he's laid back, she learns to be laid back. Is it going to stick? Because I just, I live with one of those, and they never change.
Yeah, and it clearly hasn't worked out for you.
Look, we've come to understand our differing, things, and I'm sure they will too. But like at some point, I think she has to acknowledge that Type A has gotten her this far, baby, and she's going to stick with it.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than Type A trying to go with the flow. That's the worst. That's the worst human being on the planet. That you don't want any part of that. You want people to be themselves. Don't do that.
And it's temporary at best.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So I had a question, like the where does the wedding take place? Because they do actually like a pretty good job of making me think that it is some sort of wedding establishment, but I'm fairly certain it's just somebody's living room. Like when they do the pullback,
it's a house. I mean, there's a staircase and everything. So
but I thought maybe it was like a wedding venue that has like multiple. Like I don't know.
Right.
But
like where we did the marathon.
Yeah, but where they do when they pull back and it's the kiss, that's just somebody's living room. And so I thought it was bigger than it was until they did that pullback, and I was like, oh, that's one room. So was it somebody in the wedding party's house? Is it someplace you can rent out? I don't know. Dano?
Yeah, mine's similar, and this is going to sound like a wait what, but it is 100% not. How many times did they use that same bar and restaurant? And that's not a wait what. I think it's more than we think it is. There is a scene. There are definitely 2 scenes at that bar tabletop.
And he acknowledges it.
Yes. But there's a couple of scenes in a restaurant or at a reception that I think is the same place repurposed, but I'm not sure. And I think it's very impressive that they used what they had in that many different ways. And I would love to hear how many there were.
Cupcake buffet party might also be.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was in there. I think that was in there too.
Right.
I think we're 4 or 5 times same place, which is impressive.
And that is crafty, low budget filmmaking.
That's crafty, low budget
That's
filmmaking.
what we're saying. It's not bad. That's what we're getting at. Like,
they're using their resources.
If the jewelry store music had been festive, both of them would have given it a full hearty thumbs up.
Yes. We did it, everybody. Congratulations to us. Next week, we're heading over to Hulu. For an animated movie called The Night Before Christmas in Wonderland, which is in some way, shape, or form Christmas in Alice in Wonderland with Santa, and it's all
Can I use my skip?
Is there a unicorn in this?
No. It's, and I feel like it had like pretty big names in it. This isn't a fly by night situation.
I doubt
it. Okay. Well, I don't need it from you specifically.
So you're saying they got some celebrities to come in for an afternoon on the phone and voice
guys, it's Gerard Butler. It's Emilia
Oh.
Clarke.
Okay.
And then some others.
Gerard Butler has never been affiliated with a garbage movie. So,
with a low budget film.
Here, the Queen of Hearts.
Do you think he's supposed to be American again in this one? That's my favorite.
He is. I think he's Santa.
I hear that he's great in the live action How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm sorry, he's Saint Nick.
Oh, good. Okay, I hope so.
The Queen of Hearts has outlawed Christmas.
Oh my God, what are we doing? Are we previewing this
I'm
movie?
not going to give you anything else, but the Queen of Hearts has outlawed Christmas.
All right.
You heard it here first.
So come on back next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, remember the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.